Why clean? Clean for health. And today we have a panel of experts on cleaning from different backgrounds. And I'm going to let them introduce themselves. And Larry, I'm going to toss it to you so that we can get right into it.
Fantastic. Thank you. I'm Larry Cooper, and I'm with The Experience. And we've been studying the science of cleaning and restoration for a long time. And we have a great opportunity for advancement with this new opportunity that's going to be at The Experience. So check this out with ATP type of technology.
Right. And so that's starting with Larry. We're going to hop to Barry.
Okay. My name is Barry Costa from Costa Group Education. And I'm going to be talking about cleaning related to water damage restoration, specifically contaminated Category 2, and more importantly, even Category 3. And are we sure we're cleaning for health when we're dealing with a Category 3? Are we still dealing with cleaning for chunks? I sure hope not.
Let's hand it over to Jeff Jones.
Hi, I'm Jeff Jones with the Microbial Warrior System of Forensic Restoration and Decontamination and Biosheen Services in Oklahoma City. We'll be talking about the application of cleaning, forensic cleaning, which is scientific cleaning, how it's applicable in all of the aspects of restoration and remediation, not just cleaning for appearance, but cleaning for health.
Absolutely. Doug Hoffman.
Hi, my name is Doug Hoffman. I'm the Executive Director of NORMI, National Organization of Remediators and Microbial Inspectors, and we do training on the assessment and remediation side of the mold business. And one of the interesting things about the use of ATP is we make a distinction between screening and testing. Obviously, you need to identify what it is that you're using and what you're trying to clean. And so cleaning is an integral part of the things that we do, and I'm excited to talk about how we can do it better.
Absolutely. And Dr. Gavin McGregor Skinner.
Hi, everyone. I'm Dr. Gavin McGregor Skinner. I'm the Senior Director of the Global Biorisk Advisory Council, or GBAC, which is a division of ISSA, the Worldwide Cleaning Association for the cleaning industry. And what we want to focus on really is that we know that techniques to clean any environment, it varies. It varies by equipment. It varies by product that we use. But the need to measure how effective our cleaning practices are is universal. No matter what we're doing, where we're doing it, it's a universal requirement to measure how effective we clean.
Awesome.
Had scores into the hundreds and hundreds and brought those down, not only just into single digits, but zeros throughout. So this is clean room clean.
Take that, huh?
That's what we want. This is user-friendly now, and I feel comfortable walking off of this scenario that anyone could come in here. And I've said this before, I absolutely will not pull off an incident site until I'm comfortable that you could open a daycare center there the next day. There's not a pathogen on this planet that we can't negotiate.
Okay, now Larry, why don't you kind of tell us again, like what brought this about? What brought up the cleaning for health, the why clean for health?
Will you add the video in later, I'm assuming?
Yes.
Never. Yeah, what do I know? So I have an opportunity now to really look back 30 years as I worked with Dr. Michael Berry as he wrote the book, Protecting the Built Environment, Cleaning for Health. And I see that we've advanced huge steps, but we're still not at a place where I thought we would get, which is being able to not only measure, but document carefully what it was that we were doing. And so I wrote something, and I'll read just a little bit of it to kind of tell you where I'm going with all this. It was just 3 years ago that the world shut down with a virus spreading at a very rapid rate and killing literally hundreds of thousands of people around the world. I know we have a short memory, or maybe we just want to forget that this was our reality for several years. But what I want to bring up again is that cleaning is critically important. It was during the pandemic, and it still is today, and that's how we stop this cycle that we walked into. My next question was, how do we measure clean, and maybe why clean at all? So we noticed during and after the COVID pandemic that cleaning was on the tip of everyone's tongues, and they could not clean enough or often enough. And I've never been more popular in my whole life, because that's all I've done is clean for the last 50 years. Cleaning is a critical piece of our lives, and we do it to remove germs, contaminants, soils, pollution from the indoor environment, and properly put them in a safe environment out of the indoors where we all live and work. We need to dispose of them properly. Cleaning plays a major role in floor care maintenance, water damage restoration, biohazard cleanup, fire damage restoration, and remediation jobs. Using technology to determine the conditions at the start of the job and at the completion of the job is vital for our records, and also to know what cleaning we have done was successful, or maybe we learn how to clean better over time. So from there, I would love for Dr. Gavin McGregor Skinner to start talking about cleaning.
Yeah, thanks, Larry. I think it's really important for us to understand that to clean, we have to be educated, trained. Why? Because we use tools, equipment, and product that has chemicals in it. And really, for us as an industry to be regarded as being professional, we have to show what the benefits of cleanliness is and what are the levels of cleanliness we achieve through the practices and protocols that we use. So what I really look at is really 3 key benefits by understanding the need to measure how effective our cleaning practices, the way we clean, actually work. And that will, again, this is critical that the cleaning industry is regarded as a profession. We're regarded as a trade. And so when we look at measuring the level of the cleanliness, we take as you correctly said, Larry, we might take a before measurement, before we clean measurement, and then we might take an after clean measurement. And that gives us those numbers. So we can't see a lot of what we're dealing with, the germs, the mold, the bacteria, just the soil that we're dealing with. So being able to visualize that in numbers gives us an idea of how thorough and how effective our cleaning practices are. And that's really important, not just for us, but also for the customer that we're cleaning for. So I want us to understand that we need to measure to validate cleaning practices, but we can also improve professional training by measuring. Everyone cleans that little bit. It's a little bit different. They use their own little cleaning practices, which are unique to them. So how do we educate everyone within the cleaning industry of how significant their activities are, while providing feedback to show that they meet the standards of cleanliness that we're looking for? The only way we can do that is to measure the level of cleanliness. And the other area we want to really focus on is motivating people within the clean industry in our workforce development, what we do to keep them in the industry, but also to develop a framework that shows measurement, numbers, shows a before and an after change that we can then show to other professions, to other people that may be requiring our services to clean a particular building, area, or equipment. And we can actually justify the invoices, the cost, the time that it takes by taking real-world measurements in the work that we do.
Gavin, will you introduce the technology so we talk about that openly and how we're going to use that at the show? But really, it's being used by other industries also.
It's amazing, Larry. This is great technology. It's called ATP testing. ATP stands for adenosine triphosphate, or we call it, we shorten it down to ATP. And this is a molecule that only exists in living cells. It's common in all life, where it converts energy that the cells need to work. So anything that's alive, that's living, we can measure ATP in. Now, if something's alive, it has ATP. And when we use an ATP test, we discover where there are germs, bacteria and mold, for example, which may be invisible to the human eye. The greater the visibility that we can make, say, by using ATP testing, is an incredibly useful tool, because it guarantees that our cleaning protocols have met a level of cleanliness that has guaranteed health and safety for the employees, the customers, everyone that uses that indoor space or that built environment. And so it's really important to understand that this is a easy to learn, really fast, within seconds test, and it provides such an incredible visualization of a dirty surface versus a clean surface.
Fantastic. That is a great introduction. And I think part of what Gavin was bringing forward also is for us in the cleaning industry, whether it's carpet, upholstery, doing anything along those lines, hard surface floors, countertops, bathroom, whatever it is, this is a critical device to be able to use for your files, especially, but also to confirm that the cleaning processes that you're applying really are working. What effects are they having? So the next area that I really wanted to talk about is how critical it is, cleaning is, to restoration, especially water damage, fire damage. And Mr. Costa, if you would jump in here, that would be wonderful.
Oh, that'd be great, Larry. Thank you. Hey, I'd like to dovetail off of what Dr. Gavin had just mentioned. If you're coming to the show in Las Vegas, September 6th, 7th, and 8th, we're actually going to have a cleaning contest on the second day during the trade show hours. Limited 16, 18 people, and want to thank Artemis Biosolution. They've donated an ATP meter called the Ensure Touch. It's $2,200 value that's going to be given to someone. And you're going to have a chance to actually test your skills. If you think you're a very good cleaner, come on down. Sign up. Larry can give more details of how to sign up. And one of you will be leaving with exactly what Dr. Gavin McGregor Skinner is going to be talking about during the main program. He'll also demonstrate at the Flood House how to perform the ATP sampling. And of course, Jeff Jones, a big part of the Microbial Warrior program is the pre-assessment, knowing where we are, where we start from, and validating that we're clean, not hoping, not guessing, not seeing, validating with science that in fact, with this state-of-the-art technology we're going to use to clean, we can achieve that consistently. And I think the food service industry, the hospital industry, they have to demonstrate constantly that those operating rooms, that the food counters and so on are safe when you're processing things that we ingest in our bodies. So that'll bring me up to water restoration. As you all know, we have three categories of water, 1, 2, and 3. 1 doesn't pose substantial risk to humans. 2 has a significant level of contamination. And 3 is pathogenic and toxigenic. It is extremely harmful to human health. And currently right now, in the standard S500, we talk about the importance of cleaning. But yet, what are we missing? Are we clean? Are we cleaning for visual, or are we cleaning for measurable results? And I think the measurable results is what is needed in this industry big time. I mean, when I took Jeff's course, Microbial Warrior, the forensic operator course, I've never prayed so hard to get a 0 on my test. Okay. In school, you're always looking for the highest number. Well, it's amazing that we're looking for below 12, but every student in the class either got a 0 for RLU readings, or I think the maximum was 2. So far better than what the hospital and the food industry requires. And again, Larry, back to what you said about COVID, We had spray and prayers out there. You spray a product, we pray it works, and then you give a foolish guarantee that there won't be COVID in your building for 6 months. This was an embarrassment for our industry, and I hope we've learned we never do that again. I think it was Vanity Fair. There was a reporter that said what he saw was hygiene theater going on, hygiene theater. And Dr. Eugene Cole came to our defense and said, I'm glad people in the health industry don't view it your way, but it's the first time I disagree with Dr. Cole. It was hygiene theater going on. We had an envelope virus that kicked our butt, never should have. What happens when another one hits? Are we going to be ready? So this topic was covered in Florida, is going to be hit again at the Experience in Vegas. And for restoration, we need to start doing some testing, especially with category 3 and 2, to identify to homeowners, your home is now safe. We are back to a category 1 because we clean before we aggressively dry. You don't turn air movers on a contaminated area unless you want to spread everything to unaffected areas and make it even worse. We always clean first and dry second. So let's focus on, as Larry said, the word clean. Are we cleaning to the level that we need to be cleaning for health?
Apparently, I should take Jeff's class because I do great at the 0 on all these tests. So, well, thank you, Barry. That really does highlight the importance of cleaning on these restoration jobs that we all get into. And, you know, we didn't even talk about sewage backflows and, you know, the contaminants that we walk into, and are we protecting not only the occupants, but ourselves and our employees properly?
Exactly.
That's a whole nother discussion that'll lead right into the mold man over here. Doug Hoffman, take it away, man. Let's talk about what's happening with remediation. And I know you guys are doing some testing, but how does ATP apply to this overall practice?
That's a great question. And we love talking about ATP. One of the things that's kind of unique about what we do in the remediation industry with mold is that we're dealing with both the things you can see and the things you can't see. Sometimes it's visible mold growing on a surface or on some article of clothing. Sometimes it's invisible in just the spore form. In either case, you cannot do what you're supposed to do until you understand the I think, high-tech cleaning that we actually do. The chemistries we use, the techniques that we use to clean the surfaces, it's all about being able to test pre and post. What did I have? Can I prove that I actually cleaned it? Now, as far as ATP testing is concerned, because we're dealing with fungal contamination and we really need to identify what that mold is, and of course whether it's actually growing or not. Is it a water sensitive mold? Is it one of those 0 tolerance molds? Is it the kind of common mold that we find everywhere? Because that's important, we do a lot of talking in our classes, Larry, about the difference between screening and testing. And the example I use is this: if I go to a health fair and I sit down at a table and I see that they're doing cholesterol screening, and they screen and they say, well, Mr. Hoffman, you've got high cholesterol. I'm not going to be able to take that information to my doctor and say, oh, can you prescribe a statin for me? I have high cholesterol. He's going to say, no, wait a second. We're going to do this my way. We're going to do it under clinical conditions. We're going to send this test to a lab and get specific results, and then we're going to be able to address your problem. And that's kind of the way we use ATP. We use it as a screening technique to find out if the surface is in fact contaminated, because it's not going to identify whether it's bacteria or whether it's mold. Right. What it is going to tell you is that it's microbial, that it's not eyeshadow, that it's something that needs to be addressed. And so that's going to lead us into the process of saying, well, then let's use regular testing techniques, whether it's a swab, whether it's aerosol, whether it's tape lift, send that to a lab, third-party lab, let them identify exactly what it is, how much is there, and then that's our pre-test. Now, at the end of the project, we can then do a post-test and prove objectively that we actually cleaned that surface. So remediation is not just tearing things out. It's actually cleaning. It's high-tech cleaning. And as Dr. Gavin said, these remediators need to be trained in those processes, because we're not just, we're not just spraying and praying, as Barry said. We're actually using high-tech microfiber, the right kind of chemicals, swiping in the right direction, all of those things. And it's really important for us to understand how important it is that we utilize this type of technology in our processes. We also highly recommend ATP testing for remediators during the construction process or reconstruction process, or when it's under containment. We call it interim testing. Am I continuing to keep this surface clean? And I think it's one of the most critical things that we do.
Wow, that's fantastic. And of course, you're dealing with highly toxic situations, which is not necessarily the case when I'm doing upholstery cleaning or something else. But you can see the different levels that we need to use this type of technology, and what a great opportunity it is for us to use throughout our industry. And finally, I'm going to turn to Mr. Jeff Jones, who is our microbial warrior guru. And Jeff's going to kind of play cleanup a little bit, but really go deeper and dive deeper into what this whole discussion's about. Jeff, take it away, man.
Hey, thank you very much. Let me just take a backward step just for a moment, and let's talk about what is cleaning. Okay?
Yes.
Cleaning is defined as the removal of soil, both visible and invisible. Forensic cleaning is defined as the removal of biological contaminants and pathogens to prepare surfaces, both vertical and horizontal, for professional disinfecting. You cannot disinfect a contaminated or a dirty surface. It's not going to work. I don't care what your delivery system is, and I don't care what the log of your disinfectant is. It's got to be cleaned first. And so there are two reasons to clean anything: appearance and health. We can clean for appearance and still have a biologically hostile environment. If we clean for health, appearance will take care of itself. And so there was an old saying, I'm old enough to remember the 60s and the hippies movement, trust but verify on the US government, trust but verify the establishment. So how do we know that the surfaces, whether vertical or horizontal, are really clean? There's an appearance test. You can put on a white glove, as you see them do in the military. Our drill sergeants would come in and rub our surfaces and check our weapons with a white glove. But this is when the ATP really has become an asset to the cleaning and restoration industry. Originally developed around 1975 by a Swedish doctor. I believe the original term for it was a biometer. And then one of the shortcomings they found out were the swabs only lasted about 3 to 5 days. Excuse me. In our industry, one of the drivers on this in the cleaning and restoration industry was a guy named Slade Smith, who saw the potential on this. And Slade actually wrote the first paper on the use of the ATP, the adenosine triphosphate meter, in the water restoration industry. So I want to give credit where credit's due. Slade was a real visionary on hygienic cleaning. Barry, you like to flash that book at the beginning of it? Do me a favor. Pick it up, grab it, turn to page 181, second paragraph down. Okay, we're going to talk about cleaning under some really bad. What have you got? Is that your Lone Ranger Club card?
That's my actual meter that Slade Smith gave me. That's how old I am. Huh?
Second paragraph down. Hey, Barry, would you read that?
Yeah, an unnoticed death, that paragraph?
Yes.
Thank you, sir. An unnoticed death is usually discovered by the odor it produces. By the time it is discovered, the built environment needs professional restoration. Professional cleaners should take the following steps when cleaning up after such a death.
Boom. Okay, it goes on and that, but he already had the vision, Dr. Michael Berry. Back then, he called that an undiscovered death. Okay, well, eventually someone discovers it. What it is, it's an unattended death. In the world of forensics, there's 4 types: homicide, suicide, accidental and natural. Eventually, someone discovers those. I was taking ATPs on Friday on a unattended death, and yesterday, which was Sunday morning, on an unattended death job. And so the ATP meter for this industry really is, this is the one that I prefer. I don't sell them, okay, but this is the one because there are different manufacturers out there, and you need to understand this, that every manufacturer uses a different algorithm. And so the algorithms that go with the Hygiena system are more user-friendly for the cleaning and restoration industry. Another tip, let me give you really quick. These swabs, you need to keep these cooled, okay, in the refrigerator. Don't freeze them and don't let them get hot because you'll spoil them. These have a shelf life of months, but if you get in your vehicle, you need to keep them in a cooler, especially if you're working in an environment like, Phoenix, Arizona, where that's going to heat up really quick and it's going to throw your numbers off. And like any piece of equipment, this is simply a tool. And so whether it's forensic restoration or water restoration, it all comes down to training, tactics, techniques, and tools. I said that word last, but you've got to get training on this to where you're competent and use it. Is it the end all? No, it is not. It simply lets us know that that surface is clean, but now we can do what we want to do, and that disinfectant can do what the label says and make its claim. Will this identify viruses? No, it will not. That's why we look for our EPA registered hospital grade tuberculocidal disinfectant that's rated for viruses. Viruses are not living organisms. Would we use this in a hostile environment with, say, fentanyl or heroin or opioids? No, we do not. Those are not living contaminants. But in the realm of, let's say, normal or traditional cleaning and restoration, or even forensic restoration, this is an invaluable tool. And let me say this, in the world of water restoration, okay, people don't go out, people like Chuck DeWald, okay, they don't go out and just set air movers and then 3 days later say, yeah, looks dry, feels dry. No, they have gauges. They have instruments. They're constantly monitoring the evaporation process and how they're bringing those grains of water down from the pounds of air that are in that micro environment. And they document those because the insurance industry is wise to this now. And they want to see documentation through scientific instruments. This is one of our documentation instruments right here, because in the future, what I would like to see is on some of these forensic restoration projects, if you're not validating your cleanliness, shouldn't be paid. You didn't do your job. Okay, looking good and just smelling clean's not going to cut it. Not when we're talking about cleaning for health.
Fantastic. I think he was talking about cherry deodorizer again, Barry. I'm not sure.
Those were the days.
Yeah, well, you just spray some Febreze and all is well.
Yeah, we were good. We were good for a few days, weren't we, Larry? With that, you couldn't get that odor out of your nose for weeks.
Oh yeah, my wife thought I smelled just like a cherry. So amazing.
Is that Zlotnick's product?
No.
Is that Cliff's product?
No, there were some other deodorizers that were available that were water-based, completely safe, but put a cherry odor in, so you had no idea what was going on in the environment. That's how we learned how to do this 48 years ago. So nonetheless,
it fried out your olfactory nerves pretty well.
Those were fun times. Well, what I wanted to do today really was to open up the discussion about how critical this technology is for the cleaning, restoration, and remediation industry. And we've done that. And I'm really excited to just give you a little more information. At the Experience Convention and Trade Show, we'll be teaching how to use ATP meters and technology to show the success of your cleaning, restoration, remediation jobs. Dr. Gavin McGregor Skinner will present on the main program on what some of the ATP technology is and how to successfully use it, and really talk about cleaning which is critical for all of us to really understand. And then we're going to have Barry Costa at the Flood House doing a contest, and our sponsor there is Artemis, and we really appreciate Artemis donating an ATP meter, which is $2,200 for the winner of our contest. But critically important, Jeff Jones is one of our keynotes, as well as Gavin, and Jeff is going to be talking in depth about how critical it is on these jobs to protect the indoor environment and human health and to do the jobs properly. And so we're thrilled to have all of these folks on this program. Doug Hoffman had to leave us. Appreciate him joining us, but throughout his program, he'll be talking about testing. And it's a great opportunity really to learn. So come to this show, learn more about this technology, get involved in the contest. We're going to be sending emails out to people that have full paid registrations so they can enter the contest to win this device. So over the next couple of weeks, you'll get an email if you're interested. You'll email us back and we'll get you involved in the program right away. 30 years ago, Dr. Michael Berry wrote this book. We were talking about protecting the built environment, cleaning for health. And I got to tell you, I use the slogan, clean first for health, then for appearance, in my company for almost 30 years. And it was so true then, but so much more true now, and so much more important now than ever before. And as we celebrate 30 years of this amazing book, it's time for us to go to the next step with science and documentation. And I'm thrilled to work with all of these gentlemen on this program because they're bringing you the next step in science that we all need to take that step with. So be sure to attend their sessions and learn more about cleaning for health. So why do we clean? Because it's critically important to the survival of the human species. Other than that, I can't think of a reason why. I want to thank all of you guys for being a part of this panel. And I'm going to send this back to Mildred. Thank you so much, Mildred, for hosting us here with R&R Magazine. And it's going right back to you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And again, Larry, thank you for allowing me to just moderate this amazing panel of all of these experts. And again, we did have Doug that did have to leave. But again, you want to go to the experience. You want to explore these topics further. This was just the tip of the iceberg. So you want to explore these further. And we will see you in September 6th through the 8th in Las Vegas. So.
Fantastic. Thank you, everybody. And we can't wait to see you in Las Vegas, and stay cool.